For more now on this tragic story, let's cross live to our correspondent Maria Finoshina, who's in central Moscow. Hello there, Maria. So recent reports are suggesting that Yaroslav Kaczynski, the twin brother of the dead president, has identified the bodies of Lech Kaczynski and his wife. What else is happening regarding the identification of those who died?
Well, Yulia, the identification is about to begin here in the Russian capital, Moscow, as the first plane from Smolensk carrying the bodies and the remains of the victims of Saturday's tragedy have landed in the Russian capital, and the first relatives have also come to Moscow for this extremely painful procedure. Indeed, identification procedure is rather stressful for the beloved ones of those who died. That's why psychologists will be working with all those who are about to go through it. As it's been reported by Russia's emergencies ministry, identification of many of the dead will require additional expertise, including DNA analysis, as in many cases they don't talk about the bodies, but rather about the tiny parts of the bodies. I have to tell you that visa is usually required for all Polish citizens to cross the Russian border, but especially for this purpose, to allow the relatives of those dead and those who died in this plane crash to enter the country as quickly as possible without any bureaucratic routine. Russia has lifted visa regime with Poland, and as relatives come to Moscow, the city's mayor has already said that he'll do his best to make their stay here in the Russian capital as comfortable as it could be in this situation, and he meant accommodation and transportation. As you've just said, indeed, as it's been reported from the scene, Lech Kaczynski and his wife Maria, their bodies have already been identified, but among the passengers of the crashed plane were also Polish Deputy Foreign Minister, the head of General Staff, the head of Polish Air and Land Forces, the head of the country's central bank, many leaders of the Polish political parties, and more than 50 parliament members. So we are talking here about the tragedy, the catastrophe that has just decapitated the whole country, leaving it stunned. Yulia?
Yeah, that's right. Russia is investigating the causes of plane crash, as well as Poland is going to launch its own independent investigation. What more do you know about that?
Indeed, the investigation has been launched shortly after the tragedy happened, and special investigation committee has been set up. Investigation committee is headed personally by Russia's Prime Minister Vladimir Putin, who is now at the scene, as has been reported by my colleague from Smolensk region, together with Russia's Minister of Emergencies and Transportation Minister. And Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk is also now at the scene, as has been reported from the beginning that Russia and Poland will be working very close in this investigation. The latest is that the plane's black box recorders have been discovered among the wreckage of the plane, and specialists are about to start working with them, trying to decode them, which of course will definitely shed some light on exactly what happened earlier today and why this tragedy happened. But so far, poor weather conditions and technical failure are considered as possible reasons behind this tragedy, but most likely it's been caused by human error, as it appears that the pilots of the crashed 154 plane just disregarded the warnings from land services not to land in those foggy conditions. Let's now listen to what the specialists are saying on the matter.
In the morning, the weather conditions at Smolensk Severny Airport were difficult. Fog was expected. The Polish Tu-154, with the Polish president on board, was informed of the weather and was advised to divert to a different airport due to the worsening weather conditions. The crew decided to land, and this does not go against international practice because the final decision is made by the captain. The air traffic control officer gave several orders to divert, but the plane continued with its descent. Unfortunately, this ended in tragedy.
Maria, the tragedy has stunned Poland and shocked the whole world. What's been the reaction there and abroad?
Well, Yula, of course, words of condolences have been flowing from around the globe the whole day today to Warsaw, to Polish nation, and especially to the friends and relatives of those whose lives have been taken by this horrible tragedy, this horrible plane crash. Among those who've expressed their condolences to Polish nation were Russia's president, Russia's prime minister, the head of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, NATO's General Secretary Rasmussen, the leaders of most of European countries, Italy, France, Great Britain, Czech Republic. America's President Barack Obama has called this tragedy, the death of Lech Kaczynski, the leader of Poland, a great loss for this country, for Russia, and as well as for the rest of the world. But of course, Poland itself and Polish nation has been mostly hit by this tragedy, and as has been reported, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk was in tears when he was told about the death of the leader of the country. Let's now listen to what he had to say shortly after the tragedy happened.
This is the most tragic non-military event in the history of Poland. The family of the president has died along with some of the most important people in the country. The whole world hasn't seen such a drama. But the worst tragedy is suffered by the families of those who died near Smolensk. I would like to express my deepest condolences to them. I also would like to say that we've received condolences from the whole world. The first ones to call were President Medvedev and Prime Minister Putin.
A 7-day-long mourning has already been declared in Poland to commemorate all those who died in this tragedy, as Russia will mark a day of mourning as well on Monday, the 12th of April. Julia?
Yeah, Maria Finoshina reporting there live from Moscow. Maria, thank you very much indeed. And as Maria just said, 7 days of national mourning have been declared in Poland for those who died in Saturday's plane crash.